Hey guys, what's up? I'm sure you already know what this game is. And for those of you that don't know, it's Fortnite, probably the most popular game in the world right now. You see, one moment I got curious and I started thinking, how did this game, or why is this game so darn popular? So, let's talk about it. I want to preface this video by stating that this isn't really going to be gameplay centric, but instead more in depth into the mechanics and to the decision making about the design overall. First point I wanted to get across is how great the user interface is, both on PC and console, the latter of which is what I play. Coupled with a good UI is its design elements. The game is stylized to be cartoonish, designed to have nice saturated colors, and most importantly, it's designed without any semblance of gore, even though it's obviously inspired by PlayerUnknown's Battleground, which took a more gritty and realistic approach. Sadly for PUBG, that realism and all the attention to detail might end up actually being a downfall. Fortnite is quick, I mean like super quick, and one game of PUBG can probably fit 3 games of Fortnite. And people like that. The fast gratification you get from kills and how the gameplay mechanics force you to confront each other in under 5 minutes in a chaotic way really puts you into action, and not 1 minute is wasted scurrying around. And you know what? If you lose, like I do very often, you just start up the next game. Thanks to this aesthetic choice, simplified UI, and lack of gore, this game is very child friendly. And whether you like it or not, those factors combined help cast a very wide net in terms of marketing for anyone and everyone, from students not paying attention to class, all the way to your well-known influencers and celebrities. Alright, the next important point. It's compatibility and scalability. This to me is probably one of the biggest factors in Fortnite's success, and one of the best ways to look about how they did it so well is to look at its competitor and how it didn't do so well. So PUBG was originally just for Windows and Xbox One for the longest time, but has now recently just launched for mobile in iOS and Android. And even though the mobile game is technically free with in-app purchases, it has a slower growth rate as compared to Fortnite because of how long the game was behind a paid wall, really stunting its overall growth potential. On the contrary to them, Fortnite was built with expansion in mind, with an aggressive rollout on Windows, macOS, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and it just recently rolled out an iOS app, with a roadmap for Android phones in the coming months. In each one of these form factors, Epic Games, the studio behind Fortnite, has kept a consistent, smooth experience throughout it all, and making sure they're all consistently up to date with the latest software. And if you're thinking, hey, you know, Epic Games is stretched pretty far out now, shouldn't they be feeling some overreach? You're wrong. Because of how the game was made with efficiency in mind, they are capable of pushing out updates weekly and major event updates bi-weekly, whilst PUBG has lately been slower in comparison, especially since they're still fighting against cheaters and hackers. While PUBG is slowing down, Fortnite is adding new content, new ideas, and generally keeping its player base very invested and rewarded for sticking along. It's also more sad when you think about how they were pretty much the vanguard of the genre. The whole Battle Royale scene really blew up thanks to PUBG, but Fortnite came in and improved upon the best ideas and generally made it better for the casual audience. Now this part is just a small snippet of gameplay. I didn't really want to mention it that much, but I feel like I had to, at least coming from my perspective. On Xbox One while I was playing PUBG, I've noticed there were a few glitches and the overall game experience didn't feel that great at all. The colors seemed washed out, and all my actions and inputs from the controller really felt as if there was some kind of latency even though there shouldn't be. It felt like I was playing through a Bluetooth mouse instead of a wired connection. Contrasting to this, Fortnite feels a heck of a lot snappier. Everything has an immediate reaction to when I do it. Overall, when you play them side by side, you can tell which one is better optimized and more efficient on the game hardware. And since we're talking about compatibility still, it's worth mentioning that PUBG is a pretty demanding game. Even on some of the best computer builds or the high performance ones, you still have it eating up a lot of resources. And now for the most obvious reason. And this really shouldn't surprise anyone. I mean, it's free. Alright, come on, you guys all knew I was gonna have to mention this at some point. But because the game is free, the opportunity cost of trying out Fortnite is so minuscule. Sure, you maybe lose 30 minutes to an hour, but at the end of the day, you can uninstall the game or application and you wouldn't have lost a thing except for your time. But in most cases with PUBG, if you want to try it out, you're most likely gonna have to dish out 30 bucks just to see what it's like, if your hardware can even run it, and then depending on how you got it, you might not even be able to get a full refund in how you paid for it. Let's draw an analogy with Fortnite and Android. Both are free, so because of that, it can have a much larger penetration rate into the overall market. I mean, if you look at it, Fortnite is on everything and almost everyone is talking about it. But as opposed to Android, Fortnite is actually making a lot of money for Epic Games. When you take out the fact that PUBG, you have to pay 30 bucks for it, Fortnite is actually making more money than PUBG and is forecasted to continuously make more money because Fortnite is offered as a games as a service. So while it is free, the in-app purchases of cosmetics that don't affect gameplay is what is bursting Epic Games' wallets to the seams. And to make another analogy to a tech thing, is that they took the philosophies of iOS. They made the UI very clean and simple, and it just works.
It just works seamlessly.
It's very understandable. Once you boot up the game for the first time, you just go down through the options and you can see what each one represents. I mean, if I could pin it down more exactly, they pretty much took the business model of Overwatch, if you remember that. See, I used to really like playing Overwatch, and one of the things that kept me engaged was the quick rollout of new events and the developers keeping the community engaged. That's what Fortnite has been able to do, but for free. So yeah, those are the 3 things that you should take away on why Fortnite was so successful. It has great UI and design elements, it's compatible and very easily updated, and most importantly, it's free. Who doesn't like free? Thanks for watching What the Tech. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to give a thumbs up down below. And if you want to see more stuff like this and explainers, don't forget to sub so you don't miss out on any future videos. See you next time. Peace.